What's going on, everyone? So today is actually a big announcement for myself. So I'm a big guy, or I'm a big New Year's resolution guy. I'm a big guy. I'm a big New Year's resolution guy, and so 2 years ago, I was just coming out of a really shitty job that I absolutely hated. Was luckily able enough to find a new job, but between starting my last crappy job and starting my new job, I gained about 40 pounds. Got pretty big. I'm naturally just walking around between 210 and 215. I was up to 250. So for someone like me who walks around a fairly big guy, I got to a pretty heavy weight. So last year I set out on a goal to lose 25 pounds throughout the year. I know that doesn't sound like a lot. There's people who lose hundreds of pounds in a year, and good for them. But I was more focused on changing how I look at things, changing my lifestyle, and just trying to have a more healthy schedule when it came to exercising and eating, and being lenient with some things and not with others. So I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not an athlete, anything like that. I played sports all when I was growing up. Soccer for a few years, baseball, football, and then I moved on to playing college rugby. I even did track here and there. So every year when I set out a new goal, I want to do something that I haven't done before. So losing 25 pounds was something that I've never done before. I've usually only ever gone up in weight, never really gone down that much. And so what I set out to do this year is match that goal, lose another 25 pounds. But just setting out on the same goal year after year, you don't have much motivation. And I'm a goal-oriented person. If I know that I'm going to be running a 5K in a month, then I will train for that 5K until I not only can run it consistently, but also can run it and increase in time leading up to that date. So one of the other goals that I set off on this year is to run a triathlon, which is completely out of my element. Right now, I'm about 220 pounds, mostly muscle. I'm kind of fat too, but who isn't? And I've been able to swim all my life. I'm pretty good on a bike and can run fairly well, but doing all three back to back to back, I've never tried something like that before. So this year I'm running it's what referred to as a sprint triathlon. It's a half-mile swim, a 12-mile bike ride, and a 5K run, obviously all back to back, and it's in August. And so my goal for this year is to lose that 25 pounds by that time, if not come at least close to it, so that running and biking becomes easier. And also, being able to run that triathlon is going to be a really big accomplishment for me. But not everything is about yourself, and that is the second element to this triathlon. So when I was in college, when I played college rugby, my coach was really into getting us to help out the community, which I really think that everyone should do more. And we had a local soup kitchen that had their state funding pulled. And so the state of Connecticut had actually pulled, I think they gave them about $150,000 a year, pull all funding, period, which is really tough. And especially when people, you have salary requirements, you have the need to feed people, and it's all reliant on that paycheck. It's really tough for them. So over the past few years, we've done a few fundraisers. We do like one of those penguin plunges in the wintertime, and that year after year has increased. I think that raises almost as much as $140,000 a year. And then we do a concert in the summer at a local venue, and all the proceeds from that concert also go to benefit the soup kitchen. And that is roughly the same amount of money, if not a little bit less. And so what I'm going to be doing this upcoming summer is actually opening a GoFundMe account and reaching out to you guys and reaching out to my friends and family and anybody local that's familiar with the soup kitchen for donations. So I'm not just doing this for myself. When I'm really going through those cycles of pain and wanting to stop or wanting to let a cramp go away, I'm going to be thinking about the people that don't have a meal every day and don't know where their next meal is coming from, or don't know if their soup kitchen is going to have enough funding to be able to feed them. So I know this is a super long build-up, but I just want to let you guys know, this is the start of it. I'm going to be bringing you guys along on most of my training. So I'll actually highlight a little bit of the training I've been doing, because I started training in January and have worked my way up. We're now at the end of March. I got about 4 months left, give or take, before the triathlon. So I'm only going to be ramping up the training. So what I've been doing so far is getting familiar with doing each element. I bike to work every day, which is about 8.5 miles each way. So the bike doesn't really bother me, but when I bike to work, I do it casually. I'm not really, lean down in the position trying to, on the drop bars, trying to race into work. I'm just doing it, casually, just kind of enjoying the sun and hanging out. So ramping it up, I typically ride to work on a mountain bike, and now I'm going to be riding to work on a road bike so I can get used to the feel of it. I'm also obviously going to be racing on the road bike, so I've been ramping up my practice time on the road bike, but clearly it's New England, it's the winter. There's not really a lot of time to ride without getting snowed on or ice or whatever. So now that it's late March and we're kind of coming out of that period, I'm able to get a lot more time on the bike. Another thing that I've been doing is I'm a decent runner for a limited distance. I can run 1 mile in under 7 minutes. That doesn't really bother me all that much. But after that 1 mile, I'm pretty cooked. So what I've been working on is being able to run the 3 miles or 3.2, I think the race technically is, that I will be running, and still having enough energy to do other things. So what I've been doing is I'll run 3 miles and then I'll go to a boxing class, or I'll run 3 miles and then I'll go and lift, just to kind of get used to okay, this isn't a time to break, this is a time to transition to my next exercise and keep moving forward. And then the biggest element for me is swimming. Like I said before, I'm a pretty big guy. I don't float very well. If I try to tread water, I sink fairly quickly without putting a ton of effort into staying afloat. And so I've always been a decent swimmer. I grew up around the beach, and I even trained to be a lifeguard at one point. So working on swimming is pretty much the biggest challenge of this. And if anybody's interested, I would encourage everybody to not only learn how to swim, but to get good at swimming. I underestimated how good of a workout it is, and there's muscles that I will come out of doing a swimming workout that I didn't know I had. And so I started off swimming 80 meters at a time. The pool that I'm at is 20 meters long, so there and back is 40 meters. I started off swimming 80 meters at a time, and that was about my limit. And now I'm working my way up to, or I work my way up to doing 160 meters at a time, and I would do 5 reps of that to get to 800, and now I've even moved up to 200 meters at a time, and I've increased the distance that I'm swimming to 1,000 meters. And pretty much the focus right now is when I stop, because I don't have the whole turnaround thing going that good swimmers do. So when I stop, when I touch the wall on the other side and turn around, my goal right now is to reduce the amount of time that I'm hanging out there, and also when I'm done with my 200 meter swim, trying to reduce the amount of time in between each repetition. And so that's only going to get less and less repetitions with longer and longer swims, and hopefully less time spent at either end. And so the race has fairly, lenient requirements when it comes to the swim. You have to be out of the water by 30 minutes, which is manageable. And then I believe you have to finish within 2.5 hours. So my goal is to finish before 2 hours. So I'm going to be bringing you guys along the journey, and you guys will be able to follow along, maybe pick up some tips here and there, or just if you enjoy watching me suffer, which is always fun because even I enjoy watching myself suffer. It's definitely going to be an entertaining bit. So I really appreciate you guys watching this video all the way to the end. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. Hit the like, whatever us YouTube people say over and over again. But I hope you have a great day. I hope you use this as an inspiration to, do something for your community. And I look forward to you guys joining me along this.